Shout out to everybody in the chat. Welcome, welcome. I'm going to give people some time to get in here. I'm waiting for our interview to process a little bit more. I didn't want to hold anybody up. Shout out to everybody. Let me see kind of where we're at, and hopefully we will get to this piece. Shout out to everyone. Okay, it's still processing a little bit. It might take a couple minutes. Okay. Hey Carolyn, welcome. I hate peace. JJ, Deborah Smith. Shout out to everybody in the chat and those that are just joining us. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. This is an interesting night, at least for me, in my channel. Definitely something that I wanted to show and talk about as it pertains to this Kalyn Walker situation. Okay, and those that are not familiar of who Kalyn Walker is, he was the Superfly was well known. He was the actor and rapper Kalyn Walker, sentenced to 15 years to life in prison after raping multiple women. Now, I'll tell you guys a little story. When I initially started covering that story, and I had to go back a little bit to kind of really remember what even led me to that, there were so many discrepancies when Kalyn came to YouTube or was on, the bloggers. A lot of the stories that he was saying was just not making sense. His side was not making sense. But not only that, there was one specific, victim. At the time, she was an alleged victim. She's a victim. Okay. That was continuously being attacked time and time again on the blogs, everywhere that she went. I mean, they were just looking to discredit her one way or another. And there was an entanglement even for me, because I met some of those bloggers that were, I guess, they were recruited to bring the victims and expose them on YouTube and all blog sources for the purposes of trying to make Kalyn Walker as innocent as possible. When the man was being charged with 30 plus, rapes and 3 of those included minors, and there was a rape kit, and there was just so many things that were coming out in and out of the situation that, to me, I just couldn't turn the blind eye, right? Personally. So this thing about him being sentenced, for 50 years is, I mean, it's shocking, right? I think it's well deserved given the amount of victims that he had, the time frame that he's been raping, how he was alluring his victims to meet with him. He was proposing, he was posing himself as a photographer for celebrities, and he had these connections that he would promise X, Y, and Z, and then he would assault the women that he would meet. Such a horrible way to I mean, just experiencing all that, just I can only imagine. One of the big people on the blogs that was continuously being attacked was a woman by the name of Sydney Stanford. Okay, now Cindy, I saw her for the first time on Hollywood Unlocked, and I was very much like, wow, her story was huge and very impactful. And the video is still processing. Okay, hopefully it'll be done soon here. Very impactful, and I was just caught, I don't know, by her story. Very beautiful girl, model, okay, and very smart. And she took on Kalyn Walker on an IG live, like completely took him on during a live. And so she was the target of various attacks by social media and various bloggers. Okay. So, and I'm just going to say it because that's how it happened. She shared with us her impact statement. Okay. And so I'm going to just read it a little bit, and it's in very tiny print. I get it. But I have her IG in the description box, so you guys can check it in the description box. But she writes on her impact statement: I debated heavily on reopening this wound to write this letter, but I feel like it is imperative that this is considered before sentencing. Since being raped by Kalyn Walker, my family and I have spent over $50,000 in mental health care just so I can participate in being a normal human. A normal human who can, eat full meals without hearing her abuser call her too fat to be a model. A normal human who doesn't feel dirty every time she experiences physical touch. A normal person who can hold a job without anxiety. A normal person who can wake up every day not wanting to leave this earth. That is what Kalyn Walker did to me. Me being raped is something that will always live with me no matter what. It's something I can't escape and have to learn to accept, but it will always hurt. This story is not just mine, not just the girls whose convictions were carried forward, but it is the story of over 40 plus women. When I publicly spoke out about my experience with Kalyn Walker, my messages were flooded with women who had experienced very similar things at the hands of Mr. Walker. I do not believe he has learned his lesson, and I think he has made it clear by his not guilty plea and his blatant display of disrespect towards the court, the system, the judges, the order, and the women involved in the case. Let us not forget that during this trial, he leaked a video of him raping a minor, changing her life forever. He named all of his victims on his case, even though their names are meant to be protected by law. And most important, he used the media to taunt us, discredit us, traumatize his victims even more. I beg that you hold him responsible for all of his actions. Protect women from ever coming in contact with someone who very clearly has no morals. I ask that you see fit to give him the maximum amount of prison time. My life was changed forever. His should be too. Cindy Stanford. Very strong statement. Very strong victim statement. Okay. Their life was changed forever. Okay. Period. It was. There is no way to put it. There's no way to say it. It was. And I mean, it was so interesting how I took this story very personal because I felt like and I'm just being very vulnerable and honest with everybody here. I'm checking back. Okay, I think we got our video going now. I went to school to become a social worker. Blogging is just a side hustle that I do. I enjoy it. I like it. If it can make me some money, great. I try to incorporate things that I know into my blogging life. It was very hard to separate as I'm hearing the stories and then also trying to help, in my mind, it just put pieces together of what this man did to all these women and also defend myself because I was also being attacked by various bloggers. It was very hard not to put I had to not be a blogger for the time that I was covering that story. I had to put my social worker hat on. And I had to say, the blogging is great. I'll come back and if these victims want a platform to speak on, great. This is it. I'll offer it to them. But the victims are first. And when I made that commitment to them that way, I saw a different side of this case that I felt like a lot of people were denied here. There were so many DMs, so many fucking bloggers, so many things that were videos were being leaked of bloggers with minor children, Kalyn Walker having sex with these minor children and people not knowing of this leak. In the name of trying to crucify these victims. And I had to be quiet. I couldn't just disclose it, right? Because I'm not a blogger if I'm trying to understand the story. This, to me, covering this case specifically was something that had to do with like my morality to like, who do I owe what to exactly? Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate everybody in the comments. So it was a weird time it was like the story kind of picked me, so to speak, right? There were things that I didn't say, things that I didn't do. I was fighting with a lot of people all the time. I mean, I lost some sleep over this thing too, and I was just supposed to blog about this. I wasn't supposed to get all, entangled to it. I'm just a blogger. But I lost sleep over it. And I actually cared about what was being said of these victims. And that's when I knew I'm doing the right thing. I know what I'm doing here. I might be, the blogging thing may be hard, whatnot, and definitely um hard work, but I felt like I did the right thing overall. So I'm gonna air it. Okay. I'm gonna share it with you guys. So I met with Cindy Stanford, and shout out to her. Cindy Stanford had gone to Hollywood Unlocked, I believe last year in March, I think, or June or something like that. Don't quote me on the date. Cindy told her story to Jason Lee, which was awesome, because I think Jason Lee offered her a bigger platform. You see, Jason Lee had also interviewed Kalyn Walker. He had also was going back and forth a little bit with Kehlani at the time. Kehlani, if you know who Kehlani is, if you're from that generation, she's a big musician, a celebrity person. They had been, and my understanding is that maybe they have dated once. I'm not really sure what their history was, but Kalyn constantly went after Kehlani. When Kehlani retweeted a video that I had released here, I had been retweeted by her. I was even more attacked. Cindy was more attacked. A lot of people were re-attacked over the tweet, and I'll get into that a little bit in this video. But I'm excited about this. I hope you guys enjoy this, and I'm just making sure that everything else is good on my end before I release this mother real quick. 1 second. Okay. So we're just going to have to work with this one. What I'll do is I'll probably going to re-upload just the interview itself. This is just me definitely just giving some commentary to it. And let me remove myself. Shout out to everybody in the chat. This is it. This is the story. And thank you, Cindy, for everything. Thank you for the victims. Shout out to you. Thank you. Thank you for trusting me. Thank you for the juror that reached out to me. All the people that contacted me and actually trusted me with this. I don't know what happened. I'm just lucky. I don't know. But let me go ahead and play this. Oh my God. How are you? Look at you.
Look at you. Hello. I'm so happy right now.
Oh my God. I was like, get together. Can't cry. You're blogging. What the hell?
I know. It's been like such a long time since like we have started our journey together.
It's so funny. It's funny because you wouldn't think that when you say journey, you're kind of like, what does that even mean? And what is this whole situation even? I was talking to my husband last night, and I said, it's so weird to hear the outcome of everything and then also know just a little bit an insight into how it got to there. But you also let me part of that journey. So I want to thank you for that. I owe you a lot. So you don't even know.
Honestly, I owe you a lot. Like, I think that time was such a lonely time because everybody was just kind of coming after me on his account. So like knowing that I wasn't crazy was very important, and you let me know I wasn't crazy. So I appreciate that because I thought I was crazy.
Yeah. Well, you look great. Congratulations on your wedding.
Thank you. I appreciate it, and congrats on being a mama. That's so exciting.
A mom. I'm already a mama, but it's another one. It's the last one, and we're done. No more.
The final.
The final straw. That's it. We're done. Oh my God, Cindy. I just where do we get started? Where do we? Let me ask you a question. Because I actually happened to listen. I re-listened to the interview that you did with Hollywood Unlocked. Okay. Mm-hmm. And there was something I had to replay it again, but there's this one portion where you said, and I quote, I don't think we're going to get justice, but I think that if he's out in the streets and somebody sees him, they're going to know. He's going to have to always explain himself to everybody in the world. And now here we are with this sentence. Where do you land with that?
Honestly, I think that in those moments, because, during those interviews and during that time, like, it was very stagnant. Nothing was happening. Like, it was the middle of COVID. Like, we were having a hard time getting a hold of, like, DAs, and he was just let out. We didn't know that he was going to be let out. Like, all of this shit just kind of was happening. And it was like, okay, like, obviously y'all don't give a fuck about us. Like, excuse my language, but
no, you guys, you're fine.
awesome. Yeah, but I felt like they did not care, and that's where kind of that's why I was making the noise that I was making, because I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, this is absolutely ridiculous. So I think now, like, looking back, I'm very appreciative, and I've even reached out to them, to the DA, and just to them handling the situation how they did. I feel like they got handed such a shitty shit show of a situation from the police department, whoever the fuck passes it down. And I feel like they had to deal with my loud ass the whole time, like, causing commotion and stuff like that. And I'm just appreciative of them and how they handled the situation with the girls and everything. It meant a lot. So yeah, but definitely didn't think it was gonna happen.
Right. And I looked back as I was thinking about your words. One of the things that really struck me about this, it almost felt like it was you against you specifically, because you were the face, and I would see your face out there on blogs, and then I would see what they were trying to do. They would discredit you time after time after time. And in my mind, I said, there's something's not right about this situation, given the fact that he's released. And you have even the local media in your area said, you know what? These victims weren't even informed when he was released on discounted COVID bond.
Right.
I'm just curious to know, how do you feel about them? How do you feel about all these people? And we can get into that a little bit later if you want to, but you let me know, because that was weighing heavy on me.
The bloggers, I don't know. I feel sorry for them. I feel really, really sad for them, because I feel that they have no moral compass. None of them. Like, after watching how they acted like vultures and completely traumatized a lot of us, I know that I'm absolutely traumatized, forever traumatized from that situation. And like, it changed my relationship with my own job. Like, I literally do social media for work. I'm a social media manager, and it traumatized me from social media, like, which I don't know, it sucks. And I don't think that they realize what the fuck they're doing. They just talk, and like, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about, and it sucks.
Yeah.
And a lot of them did not like me, and I'm glad they didn't, honestly.
They wanted you to get sued. They were saying he's going to get freed and she's going to be sued.
Yeah. And I mean, here we are.
Oh my gosh.
So also, I mean, but like, shout out to somebody special in his life. I'm not going to say the name, because somebody special sent me a cease and desist, but I just think it's interesting how everybody's trying to run back the fact that you guys were supporting him, and now here we are, and you guys are scared. Like, that sucks.
Wait. So you haven't even talked like loudly, right? And they're already sending you cease and desist?
Oh yeah, I haven't even, and honestly, I don't plan to, because I feel like they would do nothing. They want that. They want me to be like, oh, this person, they want the clout. That's what they were there for. That's why they were supporting him. So it's like, I'm not really giving you guys what you guys want. I never did give you guys what you guys want. And that's why you guys hate me. So yeah, I'm just not going to give them the energy. I probably will not be like publicly calling them out, unless they give me a reason to. If they give me a reason to, then it's a whole different ballgame. For the most part, I will not be giving them that energy. And, I hope that they all really rethink. I mean, like, shout out to Reggie, at least, for running that shit back and trying to fix things. Like, I can commend that, to be quite honest. Like, I'm not a huge fan of his, and I don't think I ever will. But, like, at the same time, like, at least he can own up to his shit. And it's like, I don't get why. No one has. They want to come around for interviews and ask, like, oh, can we talk to you? I'd love to get an interview. Like, oh, but let's run back what you did. Like, so yeah, it's them.
Sydney, what killed me was, and this isn't you specifically, but when there was the leak of the child pornography of that minor, and the huge deflect that happened, and not a lot of people know about the back end of that. That was crazy.
That shit was absolutely crazy. I mean, I truly believe that person, I mean, like, Miss Tasha, I truly believe that person should be held accountable for what she did. I do think that, I mean, like, it's out there. We know that it happened. Like, there's no negating the fact that it happened. Like, at the end of the day, child pornography was put for sale. That's pretty much what happened. And so it's like the lack of accountability is not it. It's not it, but I'm honestly, I couldn't expect that to happen.
Right. She did go on the Wiley show and she talked, I mean, the clip is out there where she basically said, I didn't believe the victims. Okay. In a nicer way to say it, because she didn't say it that way. She said it the other way. It was put out there. She said right there, I took that interview down and I took the video down because I guess people then found out that there was a minor in that video after it had already been released versus, and because they got the information from KR
and his team. And I think that's another thing too. Like, I feel like they all should have been held accountable. Every single one of these bloggers that took the time to even like not just speak to him, but were taking everything that he said for truth instead of actually doing investigation. I think they all should be held accountable for witness tampering, because there was a large amount of fear that was put in every single one of these girls. Like, oh my God, is my face going to be posted today? Oh my gosh, what are they going to say about me today? Am I a slut? Am I a whore? Am I a liar? Like, and no, none of us should have had to deal with that, with already having a case and all of these things going on in the back of our heads. But they decided that, they wanted to add that extra energy to it, I guess. I don't know. I don't get it.
Right. There was a clip, and I know about it because I had it and I've shown it before, where there was a person that was a victim that was interviewed at a much bigger blogger, not on YouTube, but in a different platform. And basically, if you slow the clip down, the girl is saying there were minors involved. And it was almost like the person conducting that interview overlooked that and said, and just kept attacking and going on. You guys did this to KR. You guys did this to Kaylee. This is a fucking setup. Yada, yada, yada.
Yeah. And I feel like that blind allegiance that all of them had towards him was like immensely dangerous. It was really, really dangerous. Yeah. I don't know. I'm frustrated, but I also have had to find peace with all of them and find peace with the fact that I will have a much better life than any of them ever will have, because I will never be like them. And, they are just not good people.
Yeah. I'll tell you something, Cindy, what I know. Okay. Because I remember when the drop of that video with the child CP happened. I had contacted Tasha about that because they were accusing Tasha of having, also in the back end between those bloggers and that and the clout. And my understanding from that situation is that she didn't know it was CP. That's what she says. Did she do her due diligence in checking? Probably not. People just thought it was just a sex tape that was going to be released out. Come to find out. And then I had to myself reach out to that victim and say, hey, is this you? Because somebody put it out on YouTube, covered it up, and didn't say it was a minor. They just alluded to something being an underage person, which is a minor, right?
Right.
The person in that tape said she confirmed that was her. And she was a minor at the time. I'm still in my head trying to figure out how all of that kind of happened and even process that, but I don't think I ever will be able to. I don't know.
I think it goes back to like negligence. Like, it goes back to the fact that they didn't want to do their jobs as journalists, their jobs as bloggers, whatever the fuck they want to call themselves. Like, they didn't want to do their full job. They chose to just take the word of a rapist, which is, that part to me is crazy, because it's like, you guys just decided he was innocent because he's Black and he was incarcerated, and now you want to say it was wrongful. Like, it's just, I don't know. I think that honestly, with all of it, I just wish accountability. That, like, honestly, we all make mistakes. We're all humans. Like, y'all made a mistake and it's out there. Like, your mistakes are out there. There's documentation of all of you guys' mistakes. Like, we know what the fuck happened. We all know what happened. Okay. So it's like, instead of doing it the way that y'all chose to do it and pretending like nothing happened, why don't you just take accountability? Like, you caused harm, so take accountability of the harm that you caused. Like, you really, really caused a lot of harm. And I hope if any of them are watching, like, I have no ill will towards you. It's more so I just wish you would take accountability, because that is something that all of these girls are deserving of. They really, really are. But I also know some of y'all still think that he's innocent. So
Unfortunately, yes. It's so funny you say that because even in the videos that I've done, I still get the comments. This was a setup, bro. This was this. I'm like, do you know there's a rape kit? There's DNA. They were minors. What do
yeah.
you mean this was a setup? Who set who up? And the person that I interviewed wasn't even he didn't even have the clout that he had when he did Superfly and all those other movies.
Yeah. It's like, and I think that's the stuff that like is missing. Like, people are not realizing like we don't need him. And it's like, also, what is it that we would really gain from him? Like, there's nothing to gain. He was still trying to gain from other people, you know? So it's like, and we all surpassed him on our own, doing our own individual things, whether it be like, you know, like acting in movies or, you know, modeling full time, like whatever it was, we created our own lane, and we didn't need him. Like, that was, a lot of these girls were huge and did not need him. So it was just like, for them to say that, it was almost laughable, because it's like, just make it make sense. Like, he's not that important. He was a D-list, C-list celebrity. Like, come on.
Yeah, it wasn't even all that. I mean, if it's his acting craft we're looking at, then okay, good. He's a good actor, but
yeah,
that's it.
I will never knock the fact that he was like a talented human being, like that. He was, but he also was a rapist. I mean, there are a lot of people who are talented human beings who are also shitty human beings. There's duality in humans, you know, and I think people want to look at his celebrity and hold on to that instead of the fact that him as a human is a rapist.
Absolutely. Tell me, and you know, and let me go back a little bit, okay? Because I think about, I was given a recording. This blogger will forever be upset with me. I think he might be incarcerated too. I'm not really sure. At least that's what I heard. You know, whatever.
Love that.
Right? Because he struck my channel over this leak. There was a phone call between Kalyn Walker and this blogger, and you at the role that you played in the trial was you were a witness to the criminal, you know, proceeding, right? They were trying to set you up in the platforms, and so there was this audio was leaked to me.
Interview with you via Instagram Live, because now she's gonna send her entire audience to you, and if she thinks you're about to bash me or about to agree with her, she would definitely do the interview with you.
Okay, that's perfect. That makes sense.
Yeah, hold on one second. Let me put you on three-way. You should act like you're on Sydney's side and be like, "That's disgusting. I can't believe that would take place." To get her to do an interview with you via Instagram Live, because now she's gonna send her entire audience to you. And if she thinks you're about to bash me or about to agree with her, she would definitely do the interview with you via Instagram Live. Because now she's going to send her entire audience to you. And if she thinks you're about to bash me or about to agree with her, she would definitely do the interview with you.
And I put it out. I told you about it before I put it out. I said, listen, what do you think about this? Make sure you hand it off to your people, you know, whoever you're working with, attorney-wise. And then Kaylani shared it too. That made KR even upset, and kind of like, I don't know, it really got to him. He posted on social media. I got more attack. I got more people after me over that situation, which, you know, whatever, is fine. But for whatever reason, you really got the front end of everything, even in that.
Oh, he hated me, and you know what? I would hate me too. I really would. If I were to be honest, if I were him, I would have hated me too, because, you know, that person that I was during that time, like, I don't really resonate with her anymore, but she was surviving. She was trying to fucking survive, and she was relentless about her survival, and she did not give a fuck, because everything felt like it was taken from me, you know? So it was like, I don't give a fuck. Y'all can call me whatever you want to call me, but at the end of the day, I will look you in your face. I will hop on your IG Live. I will tell you straight up that you raped me, and you're not getting away with it. And I told him that, like last year or so, and it's crazy because, like, I told him he's going back to jail, and here he is.
Oh my gosh. So what, so outside of being a witness, what other role did you play in the whole trial? I mean, what was,
honestly, It was so confusing, and I think it was so confusing because of the fact that, like, especially for my role in it, because I was so vocal, and I think that made it harder for them to be able to use me because, like, obviously they can twist and manipulate anything they want from his end. Like, if I mistakenly say like a wrong date or something like that, if I mistakenly say like a wrong, like, you know, I'm a human, so they can definitely go and twist my words, and there was a lot of me speaking out there, so I think that that definitely made it harder for them to like use me. But like, also, I had to step away from the case because it was just so toxic at the beginning, just how it was being handled. It was definitely not getting the attention it deserved. So, like, I was only in a place to be like an uncharged victim or a witness. They considered me during sentencing an uncharged victim. So I think I'm, yeah, that is what I'm considered. But yeah, I don't know. I was like a witness for a little bit. They both had me on their list for who they wanted to call in for witnesses and stuff like that. And it never happened, thank God. But yeah, so I kind of more so was like the tattletale. I kind of did the detective's jobs for them.
You sure? I mean, you were on it. And I was honestly think of as a blogger, right? Before I'm a blogger, I'm an actual social worker. Like I shared that with you. I graduated, I have a master's in this. So I've worked with victims. And I had to forget that I was blogging about any of this in order to talk to you. In order to really get anywhere with you. I had to put the fact that I have a YouTube channel and there's followers and there's potential money to be made, because that part of me I couldn't quiet that, if that makes sense. So even though I was getting all these like invitations to, participate in this and that and the other, I couldn't do it. I said, no, man, like just something's not right about this.
And it wasn't. And like, I was so happy when you realized like something was off, because it wasn't receiving the attention it needed. Like, I truly believe that at a certain time and moment, he was really, really protected by powerful people. And I feel like, we out yelled them and we outdid them, and they weren't able to handle it anymore. And they walked away and kind of left him on his own, because there was a certain point within all of this that you kind of felt like the shift moving to our side. They're changing. Like, he doesn't seem as protected anymore. Like, I feel like we have made enough noise.
As far as your everyday life and how this might have impacted you, how did it impact you? Because it sounds like, as you were saying, the pendulum was swinging one way and then the other. How did that go for you? What did you do? Did you do stuff with your life? Did you do, things? How did you do some self-care over this?
Geez, that's a great question. I feel like for a while I was in like this almost, I think having other girls be a part of this allowed me to take myself out of it and make it more about getting justice for them than it was about getting justice for me. So I really I won't even lie to you, I had a little bit of a savior complex, just trying to fix this situation, like thinking, okay, like not purposely, but looking back, I kind of did. So like, I think that kind of got me through some of it, because it almost allowed me to numb myself and not personalize it to me to survive, if that makes sense. But there were definitely moments where physical touch, like I've had relationships where I literally like have cringed at being touched, like do not fucking touch me, like I battled with my weight crazy over this, just because of comments that were made by him during like my assault. Like, and I think that the continuation of just like shit piled on and on and on and on, and him re-traumatizing, like it was exhausting. Like, there was no space. Like, this is the first time in my life I've had space to discover me and figure out me without like a shit ton of trauma and like court dates lined up and like fear of leaving my house because there's going to be a fucking person outside serving me, like all of those things. Like, I don't live with that fear anymore, which was what I lived with most of the time during this.
Oh my gosh. What message do you have to say for people that are going through similar situations that you are? Clearly, whether it's a celebrity or someone that's not, it seems like you've been through it a lot, and all of it as it pertains to carrying the story with you. What do you have for everybody?
I would say for survivors, do whatever brings you the most peace. Like, because I'm not going to sit here and lie and be like, you can be just like me too, because I'm fucking surprised that we even got a conviction or a court date or a sentencing or any of that. And like, I feel like half of that had to come with the fact that there were so many numbers in it. And a lot of girls and a lot of people who are assaulted don't have 40 other girls, you know, like standing behind them, like this happened to me too. So it's whatever brings you the most peace. Like, obviously, if you feel like you have the evidence and you can do it, like, please do and go after it. If you have the energy to do it, I hope that like this is a great example for you. But also like take care of you and focus on you. And I feel like the biggest thing that any survivor can do is heal. That is the biggest fuck you to any person who has assaulted you. And I think that's most important.
Oh my gosh, girl. 'Cause you are amazing. I don't you did an awesome job, and I think everybody appreciates you for it. Because you got it all. You had everybody after you. You had everybody trying to discredit you. Do you have any other messages for anybody else as far as like blogger wise? What can we do better? I think I've asked you that before, but now that we're on camera, like what do you feel like we could do better about when reporting these stories?
I think for bloggers, just, make sure that you guys are doing your due diligence. Like, you put your work in and your time into like what you're like researching and speaking about. And I think it's so important that you know what you're talking about, because a lot of them, like, I feel like it really came down to like pure ignorance of like, you did not do your homework. You are not a good blogger and you are just spewing bullshit at this point. So just don't spew bullshit. Like, bullshit is a lot more dangerous than you guys think it is, like, your blogs, your words, they actually mean something. So be careful with what you say. Like, it's preschool. Come on now. Like, don't say mean things.
Absolutely. And whether it's Tasha K or some other blogger, that if they were to apologize to you publicly or to any other victims, would that be something that you feel like you would accept? Or how do you feel about that?
I feel like I'm already at the place that I feel like her, though she can't say it, I feel like her heart, she knows that she fucked up. And I feel like I don't really need an apology from her. I don't think it's on me, to be honest. I think she really needs to apologize to that girl. And I think that really more so is a conversation that needs to be had. But yeah, for me, I mean, like, I pray for her. I wish her the best. It's not like hard feelings. It's just like, do better, That's all I have for her.
Has Jason Lee reached out to you at all, out of curiosity?
She reached out a little bit after the case, wanting to maybe talk about like everything after like everything ended like in April, wanting to talk. And I told her, like, I would be open to a conversation if she would have that conversation with the girl whose life she did change forever, whether she wants to admit it or not. Like, her life was changed forever by that. So I feel like it's no hard feelings, but like, we definitely can have a conversation when accountability is there. That's it. Like, grown woman shit. That's all.
Period.
Yeah. It's like, I have respect for her. I don't want her to feel like I was being disrespectful, but it's just,
Everybody, yeah, no, I got you. And I never watched the interview with Kalyn Walker. But I saw the preview, and the preview in itself was pretty intense. I think I have a clip on it. I'll probably play it on this video so people understand the intensity of this. This is an interview that I kicked myself because I was already a Patreon, because she put it behind Patreon, right? The paid wall. I think it was like at the $15 tier, and I was already paying for it. And for whatever reason, that weekend I didn't get to watch it. It was like a Friday or some stuff like that.
It went out and went back so quick. Like, it was out for like, I don't even feel like it was out for, like, the stink was made, cops were called, like, all of that.
Oh my God, Cindy.
Yeah.
This is crazy. It's okay. Oh man. Anything else you want to share? And the reason I don't go into what happened or anything is because you've already told your story numerous times. I'm not in the business of re-traumatizing anybody. At least I try not to. But anything else that you want to share with me or anything like that before
I don't know, honestly. I think that like, you've honestly covered everything that has actually happened up until this point, like back to back to back with every report you've made. Like, it's been spot on every moment. Honestly, you have documented my trauma in a great way. Great way. Let me send it to my therapist. But no.
Oh,
No, you really got kind of like everything. Once you were on it, like you were on it. And honestly, yeah, I'm just grateful that I had you during this. And thank you for, like calling out these fucking bloggers, holding people accountable, because I don't think people realize how much more, like, it was not the fucking rape. Like, yeah, like we were raped, but it was so much fucking more than that. It was so much more. And I think that honestly, like, this was not like a normal situation or
it
child.
was not. No,
At all.
you guys were fucked by the system. He was let out. People were not informed. He was by letting them out and releasing, he was allowed to re-victimize several of you guys, release videos, and continue to gather these people, recruit them to hate on you guys time and time again. And the other thing that kind of even crossed my mind is the fact that even there was one specific blogger that allowed him to be part of a Discord group where they were showing and sharing pussy pics, basically. Okay.
Yeah. And
knowing his record, knowing his background, they allowed that.
Honestly, it was like, I could tell that they knew what they were doing in that moment was wrong, because you could hear in the voices of all of them during that conversation, like the discomfort, like, because I feel like in the back of their heads at that time, because like this was around the time things started to switch over a little bit, things got a little more real, and everybody's like, oh shit, maybe he did do this. And you could hear it in their voices. And that in itself was such negligence. Like, you guys put other people in danger and have no idea.
Yeah. They were reckless. And I have a lot of the DMs and a lot of that group. And I'm not going to air all that out. I mean, I hope that they can come to terms with that.
Right.
Because the reality is it's a sad situation overall. And it's just not the way to do it. You could hate, you don't have to like the victim or the messenger. You don't have to like Kaylani, but you don't have to defend a rapist because you don't like
exactly. And like, I feel like the Shade Room is a great example. They did not open their mouth about it until there was an actual verdict. Like that, I get it. Y'all don't want to, like, if you as a blogger or like, like a media source, you don't want to step on toes, or like you don't want to be wrong about something, you want to wait until it's for sure. That is way more respectful than like siding with the rapist. Like, I don't get it. But some people, their morals, they just do not care.
I don't have any other questions for you. I want to thank you so much for, God, it's been like a year, if a little over a year that we've been talking to you. And a lot of people, I don't think I didn't openly share that with a lot of people. I said, hey, I might have a message here, because I didn't want to. I was a little worried about what to say.
Honestly, same. Like, I was just nervous about getting sued, to be honest. Like, I mean, towards the end, I felt like, okay, I'm protected. Like, I had like the Me Too people behind me and shit. Like, it was.
I was like, look, it's gonna be well, and it wasn't even like that. It was just that I did not want to put you in a situation. Like, I didn't want to leak any of our conversation or anything. Right. And I know that it would have been very easy to do a lot of stuff that you have shown me, but I don't want to do that, right? Like,
not only that, I think you played a hand in like helping to get information in a funneled and proper way to the DA. So you were like, some of this is for y'all, and then some of this is just for, like the purposes of making sure that he goes to jail, because like,
period.
That was not, I don't think that was kind of negligent on the police department's part a little bit. Like, they did not pay enough attention to social media. This entire case was on social media. And they wanted to stay, like, I understand it was almost like old school movement in the sense of like, they wanted to stay so focused on what was happening, like with the girls' statements, all that, whatever. But yeah,
they wanted to stay, like, it wasn't a rabbit hole, so to speak, that they wanted to look into, because social media in itself is another monster.
And I think they're trying to keep it simple, but honestly, I think they would have been doing themselves a favor adding some of that stuff, because I feel like he probably would have had more charges.
Absolutely.
He would have had way more charges. He got lucky.
I think so too. Believe it or not, even though people say, what, 50 years?
I know. He fucking got lucky as fuck. He got lucky that they have a statute of limitation for when you can come in and report a rape and actually be considered a charged victim. Like, he got lucky that DNA kids were actually charged victims. He's lucky Jamie wasn't a charged victim.
Right. I know. Right. And like, shout out to Jamie. Oh my gosh. Cindy, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Okay.
I appreciate you too.
And you just reach out to me if you ever need anything or if anything else happens. I'm still here. My channel's still here. Okay.
No, seriously, here too. Like, we have created a bond and a friendship over. We've trauma bonded, like literally,
Yeah.
through all of this. And I appreciate you for keeping me sane. Like, I know I keep saying that, but like, I really, really do, because that shit was hard. And I'm just so happy we're here and talking about the fact that he's in jail now.
Yes, I know. And I never knew, like, I never thought that we would ever talk again or talk at all. Cause I was
Right.
like, I don't know, we'll see what happens. But I just want to thank you. And also, you put out the word for a lot of these victims to say, listen, this person is a blogger, but she's not going to do X, Y, and Z. And I appreciate you because trust is everything for me. So I appreciate you for that. So I thank you for coming. All righty, guys. Well, I'm going to be uploading that interview by itself without right, Mama? Without our commentary to it. Baby Bunny's up and awake and she sees her mom on the computer and she's ready to take down the computer because she sees me, right? She's like, I want to go to Mom and I'm right here, Mom. I'm right here. I'm going to be uploading just the interview itself because it's got a bunch of other clips that'll kind of help tell the story a little bit more. Shout out to Cindy. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Thank you to my members. I'm going to be heading out. I want to thank you guys again. Thank you so much. Definitely, it was a good interview. I have another one coming. We're going to be concluding Jamie's interview. Jamie was the victim that testified in court. She shared with us she was the victim that was one of the first ones, basically. Even though this man wants to claim that all these women wanted fame, he wasn't even there yet when this woman became a victim. So I'll definitely be dropping that here pretty soon. It's part 3. I put a playlist out there on the community tab for you guys to check it out. Make sure you check it out because that'll give you basically the binge watching of this whole case, if that's what you're interested in doing and understanding what happened, the ins between, like, if you're interested in blogging, the stuff that kind of got me into this back and forth with some bloggers is totally in there, as well as this criminal case and advocating for the victims. Very important. Number 1, check out the playlist is in the community tab. Thank you guys. You guys have a great rest of your night, and I'll be uploading just the interview probably tomorrow morning. Thanks, guys. Have a great night. Rabbits out.